Today we're beating an RPG the exact wrong way. That is, without experience points. We're going to be beating EarthBound at only level 1. And as an added challenge, only one party member is allowed to fight in each battle. So to curve things, I instead put GGFan through it, one of the greatest players of the Mother series in the world. A while back I tried to see if Mother 3 was possible to beat at level 1, but the thought of doing the same with EarthBound just seemed flat out impossible. Well, let's see about that. Let the pain begin. The first real required fight of the run is Frank. There are a couple of forced encounters with sharks just before, but both are more than possible to beat at level 1. Frank, however, is a pain in the butt. Keep in mind that Ness doesn't even learn life up until level 2, so healing and defense will be instrumental to our success. So, we're skipping town. That's right, we're using barrier skip and heading for Tucson first. This will be the only time we do this sort of thing, but it is crucial for these early game fights. Desperate times, desperate measures. Once in Tucson, we head to the department store and stock up on teddy bears, but how can we afford this with our measly $50? You want to start making some real money? Well, let me tell you, in this economy, there's only one answer. Eggs. Have you seen their prices recently? They are rolling money bags. No. I was gonna do a bit about Ness hatching from an egg, and now I will never financially recover from this. Buy one for $12 from this guy, let it turn into a chicken, sell, repeat. After that, we run some errands, grab this hard hat, the Sandlot bed in Happy Happy Village where we can sell more chickens, go all the way to Lilliput Steps Cave to get this great charm, and head back. While Frank is certainly possible at level 1, it's just all RNG, so having the teddies and better armor to defend us makes this a bit less painful. This setup will also carry us through Frankenstein Mark II, and it's crucial it does, as even Mark II can kill Ness in just 2 hits if he lands them, but our teddies again handle that part. The next major fight comes at the end of Giant Step, Titanic Ant. That great charm we got earlier is practically mandatory for this fight, granting Ness a 5-point buff to his speed stat, giving him the edge on both Titanic Ant and his 2 Antoids. First thing to do is get rid of the minions. With the Sandlot bat, even at level 1, Ness can 2-shot them. From there, we need to hope Titanic Ant attacks the teddy bears and waste turns with debuffs. With that, we can take down the first major boss and get the first melody. Next up is the Onett Police Force, which, in total seriousness, was the most difficult fight to figure out for this run. With the fights being consecutive, there's really no way to avoid leveling up, so is the challenge dead? Not really. Let's be honest, this challenge isn't possible anyway without stat manipulation, so I just had a hack done to set their XP drops to 0. Thus, the challenge continues. Anyway, even with the optimal equipment, the cops can kill Ness with 2 crushing chops, so again, the bears are a necessity. But with enough luck, all are doable. Captain Strong is where things get tough, and believe it or not, is among the hardest bosses in this entire run. He has 140 HP, and with Ness only dealing about 10 damage per turn, we're in for a grueling battle. Not. By using a bomb on him, which can be gotten in Peaceful Rest Valley for free, he can be cut down to only about 40 HP. The rest is a humiliation ritual. Finally back in Tucson, we restock on teddies and continue on. The next required fight is actually this insane cultist. Pretty straightforward fight, but would have been easier if we still had that bomb. Anyway, Car Painter is the next big bad to take out. While he seems like he'd be pretty tough, he's actually much simpler than one might think. Unlike most enemies, Car Painter's AI is actually completely scripted. He goes through 2 cycles, Crash Boom Bang, life up, then a paint attack, then he does Crash Boom Bang, a shield, then a paint attack. The paint attack hits hard and even with optimal equipment will deal mortal damage, so the only option to counter it is for Ness to spend that turn healing. Hamburgers are his meal of choice. But we're not done with Car Painter yet though. Even with the Sandlot bat, Ness will only deal 1 damage per turn unless he gets a smash attack, meaning our key to victory here is the story. The Franklin badge, which reflects his lightning attacks back at him. Perhaps his worst crime was hypocrisy.
And I disagreed.
Paula joins the party and is immediately put down for her crimes. As of now, Mondo Mole is absolutely unbeatable, so we'll have to wait until later to take him down. Moving on, we head to Threed, party with Jeff, and head back into town. Next up is the Boogie Tent. Our character of choice for this fight is Jeff. This will become a pattern. With our one-man army, bottle rockets are the key to victory here. Boogie Tent's too slow to dodge the rockets consistently, so them in junction with our teddy bears is just overwhelming. One of the easier fights in this run. Heading back underground, Jeff takes on the mini barf next. It's a little bit faster than Boogie Tent, meaning it can dodge bottle rockets a bit more, but we can compromise by buying more and easing up on the teddy bears for this fight, since 2 out of its 3 attacks are harmless. Heading through the factory, easier said than done, Jeff's next opponent is Belch himself. The only major bullet to dodge is the nausea he can inflict. If he does that turn 1, it's game over, reset. Impossible to heal with his HP being so low, you'll die by the time you remove it. Past that, the Fly Honey leaves him open to plenty of bottle rockets. As long as too many don't miss, he's done for. With the Mr. Saturn saved, we will also be saving the Trillionage Sprout for later. We cross the desert into Fourside, then back into the desert to fight the 5 moles. This time our champion will be Paula. Since they all set up power shields, bombs and bottle rockets won't do us any good here. Even at level 1, however, Paula still has PK Freeze Alpha. By simply hiding behind teddy bears and landing 3 freezes, they're not bad at all. The real champs in this situation, however, are the Slot Brothers, who will give you a PSI Caramel for getting 3 lucky 7s. Back in the city, Paulie gets swept away, so it's back to Jeff. At the top of the department store, our next foe is the department store Spook. The opening to this fight is pretty luck-based. He'll open by firing either PK Fire, Freeze, or Magnet. We have to make sure he doesn't fire off Fire, as it hits both Jeff and the teddy bear, frying both. As long as we don't, it's just a matter of firing off 1 big bottle rocket and then 1 super bomb. The next boss is at the end of Moonside, the evil Manny Manny statue. This guy is tough. He can do 4 things: attack, emit a glorious light, paralyze, and magnet. By giving Jeff the Great Charm, his speed is high enough to evade magnet and paralysis most of the time. Otherwise, it's just a couple of big bottle rockets that'll get the job done. After monkeying around and getting this bag of Dragonite for later, we head up to the Monotoli building, where we encounter the Clumsy Robot. One of its moves is to eat a bologna sandwich, which recovers all of its HP, but it's important to know that it does not do this and actually does jack. The Clumsy Robot, for some reason, was given a speed stat of 83, meaning it will definitely avoid bottle rockets. So the strategy here is super bombs. While this can be a pretty tough fight in the vanilla game, it's actually not too bad here. Most of the robot's attacks are harmless, and its missile attack can only target 1 party member, or in this case, our teddy bear. Deal enough damage until the runaway 5 bust in, and you're all good. Paula rejoins the party and we're off to Winners, where we take on Shroom. This is a fight all about status ailment, and big surprise, we cannot let a single one land or it's over. If poisoned, it can't be healed before it kills Ness. If he starts feeling strange, flat out, super bombs and killer luck are the key here. Shroom also has life up, which I mean when I say can be the difference between winning and losing. So another layer here is hoping he doesn't heal too often. This fight can be tough, but is nonetheless very possible. And on that same note, this whole challenge began seeming very possible. In Summers, Pooh joins us at level 15. We'll just... yeah. With that settled, we head to Scaraba. On the way though, we encounter the Kraken. Jeff is our party member of choice once again. This is another case of super bombs doing the heavy lifting. With the Franklin Badge and Flame Pendant, Jeff can obliterate the Kraken's thunder and fire attacks. But that does still leave Tornado, which will tear him apart, and Flash Beta, which 12.5% of the time instant kills. It can also paralyze, which is also a problem, or cause feeling strange, which is very dangerous. So we just have to hope for crying, which we get, and finish the job. We arrive in Scaraba, but we're going to do some backtracking before we continue on here. Returning to Fourside, it's now time to take on the Plague Rat of Doom, this time with Ness. The rat almost exclusively uses his regular attack, making this a tougher fight than some of the others so far. This is counteracted, however, by the Filthy Rich of Summers blessing us with the ability to buy super plush bears, of which each have around 400 HP. Otherwise, this fight is pretty straightforward. We wipe that smile off his face and collect yet another melody. Simple as can be. Now in Dalam, next we'll be taking on Thunder and Storm in the Pink Cloud dungeon. With over 2000 HP, they're no pushovers, and we have to properly prepare. Equipping Ness with the Night Pendant from Moonside and giving him the Franklin Badge grants us full immunity to 2 of their attacks. Their intertwining attack, however, is all up to the teddies to absorb. Use enough super bombs and this fight is won, and we get yet another melody. Now is also finally the time to take on Mondo Mole and the Trillionage Sprout, both of whom now are pitifully easy to deal with now that we have access to super bombs. And with good RNG, even become some of the easiest bosses of the entire run and net us 2 more melodies. With all that done, we finally teleport back to Scaraba. Into the pyramid, up next is the Guardian General. Jeff is back in the game for this one. Beyond that, this is a game of big bottle rocket chicken. 2 should do the trick. We make sure to get this bag of Dragonite as well and continue on our way. For Master Barf, not much can be said. Just 3 words. Multi-bottle rocket. Oh, I guess 6 actually. And Super Bomb. Up next is Starman Deluxe. Here's something interesting about EarthBound's rolling HP meter, by the way. If you beat a boss at 0 HP, but there's a minion present, you die. So make sure to get that multi-bottle rocket off and you're good. Afterwards, we give the Tendas Overcoming Shyness, and the mayor gives us yet another bag of Dragonite to save for later, as well as one at the Tenda shop, which you get for giving them 5 Horns of Life. Electrospectre, despite being so late game, is actually pretty harmless. It misses very often and one of its attacks only takes 1/8 of your HP, so by just being smart and using Jeff, he's a pushover. Following that is the first of what we're calling the Big 3, the Carbon Diamond Dog. He's insanely hard in regular runs, let alone this, and worst of all, he's nowhere near as cute as my dog. For this boss, we'll be breaking the rules. Nah, not really. Kind of. For this fight, we'll be having 2 party members alive, Jeff and Ness. However, according to the rules set at the beginning, this is a-okay as long as Ness does not attack, which he won't. You'll see. This is easily one of the hardest bosses in this entire run, with so much HP that even Ness can't slay it. Many of its attacks can slaughter our super plush bears in one hit too. Thus, we're bringing in Jeff, our demolitions expert. But this is not going to be nearly as simple as it seems. Starting the fight, Ness will do nothing. He doesn't even have any additional plush bears. He is here solely to tank one hit. He is nothing but potentially a human shield. But he's so cute while he does it. Jeff will have to deplete the beast's HP all by himself. Configuring his optimal inventory is critical to winning this fight, and this is also in part due to just how slow Carbon Dog is. A huge concern actually is that Jeff will one-shot it, which we don't want, as this will trigger it to transform into the Diamond Dog, conjuring a power shield which would then reflect the attack right back at Jeff. No can do. The next obstacle is the dog's sheer power. Even with a pendant, his attacks will still land 15 to 20 damage per turn, making them useless, since Jeff wouldn't be able to survive the counterattack. One method attempted was with poison through a viper, but it was just too slow. Another method was with the bazooka, but it takes up an inventory slot and is also reflected if it beats the Carbon Dog. Method 3 is where it all started coming together. Step 1, use a multi-bottle rocket. Step 2, use another one if the first one dealt less than 1000 damage. Step 3, throw a super bomb if Carbon Dog still has 400 HP. And step 4, finish it off with physical attacks. This method isn't foolproof though. With speed optimizing gear like the rabbit's foot on Jeff, multi-bottle rockets will do anywhere from 345 to 1570 damage, and super bombs have a range of around 160 to 400. But Jeff will also miss more due to his overall lower speed. And since we can't equip the flame pendant since we have the rabbit's foot, one fire spray and it's game over. Basically, a ton has to go our way. One phase down, one to go. But Diamond Dog isn't easy either. He has an attack that says he bit you, but they're actually 2 separate attacks. One will destroy a super plush bear in one hit. Uh-oh. There's also Glorious Light, a 40% chance of instant death, and can also inflict confusion. By a total miracle though, we make it through. Before continuing through, in the Fire Spring there is another bag of Dragonite to collect. With all the melodies finally collected, it's off to Magicant. Here, we find the last bag of Dragonite. After hours or maybe even years of snotting, we come face to face with number 2 of the big 3, Ness's Nightmare. From a purely practical point of view, this seems totally impossible. 2 attacks are guaranteed mortal damage, one that inflicts instant death 40% of the time, it can recover 300 HP, and generate power shields. Despite its stacked moveset, however, it has a glaring flaw in one of its stats: its mediocre speed. By giving Ness the rabbit's foot before going to Magicant and giving him all 3 speed capsules, he has 45 speed total, dominating Ness's Nightmare, which only has 31. With this, we can consistently go first enough to possibly stand a chance, but that won't be enough to finish the job. In Summers, there are 2 shattered men in the museum, who when defeated drop mummy wraps, which will be our ticket. In addition to all this though, we'll need the bags of Dragonite as well. We open the fight with both mummy wraps, which both damage the boss and immobilize it for the turn. With our speed vastly outpacing it, we also have a chance of dodging Rockin' altogether. Follow up by finally using a couple of the bags of Dragonite we've collected, and it's over. Hold the boost though. Now, some may say the Shattered Men aren't required fights and thus you may not have them, so GGFan took the liberty of also beating this boss in one try without them, literally as we were talking about it. Rest assured, he is vastly better at this game than anyone else will ever be. I came to terms with that a long time ago. From here, there's only one final foe. We go to the past and confront the final of the big 3, Gygus. Oh, and Porky's there too. For this fight, we have no choice but to go with Paula. So, how are we possibly going to do this?
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
Wait, not so fast. For this fight, I have 2 explanations, so let's go one by one. For the first one, we'll be using the rock candy glitch, which I don't want to dive into the intricacies of, but what you need to know is that it allows us to max out Paula's stats besides HP, luck, and PP, while still keeping our base level at 1. With this, her guts, and most importantly, speed is maxed out at 255. Gygus' speed is 80, dwarfed by ours now, and according to how the game calculates Rockin's success rate, this dwindles its chances of landing down to just about 14%. Along with this, maxed guts lets Paula survive mortal damage about half the time. Don't get it twisted though, this all does not make this fight easy, by any stretch of the imagination. Without multi-bottle rockets or stronger PSI moves, Paula's most effective of damage is still just super bombs, and with Porky having 2000 HP in the first phase, limiting how many healing items we can have, even further so since we have the Franklin badge as well. And Gygus is still no pushover either. One hit landed and it's all over unless Guts kicks in. And the chances of him landing a hit are high, since we have to beat Porky first, which will take several turns. With that done, it's on to Gygus himself. From phase 2 onwards, he has 3 types of attacks: Flash Beta, Thunder Beta, and Freeze Alpha. Paula is equipped with a C pendant, bringing Freeze's damage down to around 10. With that though, we don't have enough firepower to take care of Gygus swiftly, leaving us to the mercy of RNG to give us Thunder to reflect it. Finally, we pray. So, can you beat EarthBound at level 1? And sorta. The rock candy glitch is definitely mandatory for the final boss, but what's the lowest level we can beat Gygus without it? That is seemingly level 6. Once Paula learns Shield Alpha and is given the 2 Vitality Capsules and 3 rock candies throughout the game, she'll have 115 HP. That, along with the 5 IQ capsules, will boost her PP to a pretty decent amount as well upon level up. With this setup, Paula is guaranteed to survive Rockin' Alpha, and Shield allows Porky to be dealt with effectively as well. I won't go into the rest of the battle, but if you'd like to see it done legitimately, GGFan has a video of it, along with ones of all the other bosses on his channel, which is linked in the description. A huge thank you to him for helping me to make the impossible possible. And before you ask, Mother 1 at level 1 is impossible, so don't ask for it.